What's up guys, welcome to AnimeKouhai. If you want to help me out, please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel.
I hadn't been around for a while, but the workshop definitely had more people now, monsters included. It was scorching hot as usual. Temperature didn't affect me, so it was fine, but working in here must have been grueling for the others.
Looks like you've hired some more apprentices.
Yeah, luckily. They still need practice, but some of them are pretty talented.
Some of them looked up as they heard us talking in the workshop. Once they saw who I was, they leapt to their feet and bowed at me. Seeing all of them do that at once startled me, but Kurabe was used to it.
It's not break time yet. Get back to work.
His ornery shouting drove his staff to return to their jobs. But I kind of understood their thought process. If you're sitting at your cube, and the CEO comes in out of nowhere, you'd be nervous, too, especially if you were on the bottom rung. And maybe it didn't feel that way to me, but I was the ruler of this nation. I hadn't let it concern me before now, but maybe I should have given more advance warning as a rule. Coming in casually like this might have just caused trouble for everyone. Whenever a district manager or whatever came to view our workplace in my old world, we'd always spend the previous day cleaning up the whole office to prepare. If it was the president, then no mistakes would be tolerated. The higher up you went, the more it unnerved people when you got all casual with them, I guess. Still, I didn't want every trip out to be filled with pomp and circumstance. I hated to call Kurabe out of his busy work schedule. Better for me to just show up whenever he's free.
Sorry I barged in without any warning. I think I'm gonna make a regular habit of it for a little while, so no need to get all tense, okay?
Thus, I decided to address the staff. Maybe them being too casual with me would be a problem, but there was no need to be on pins and needles around me. I loved acting like a boss, but I didn't make a hobby out of inconveniencing people. If the other person's too nervous to react to me, that bothered me, too. Gopta's obliviousness was just right. Just keep in mind the acronym TPO, time, place, occasion, and it was easier to find the right approach. My advice seemed to relieve the staff a bit. Once I was sure of that, I nodded and went into a room deeper inside the workshop. I wasn't aware of this, by the way, but the apprentices weren't anxious just because I was a demon lord. While I wasn't paying attention, someone had held a Tempest popularity contest, and apparently, I had been voted into the top 3 idols alongside Shuna and Shion. A surprising result, they told me. Ramirez and Milam were in the rankings as well, and while I won't say exactly where, I can tell you that Milam and I were way ahead of Ramirez. I wasn't sure whether to whine about it or marvel at how my town's grown. Either way, hearing about it later made me roll my eyes.
So what kind of stuff do you need?
In his personal chamber, Kurabe got straight down to business.
Well,
We all went over the hopes we had.
I'm intending to have Garm build the armor, so I think it'd be neat if you could collaborate again.
Yeah, true. Alright, let's go bother Garm about it.
So as we talked, we decided to take Kurabe over to Garm's workshop. I wound up causing a similar commotion over there, but I'll skip describing it.
Equipment for monsters? Wow. You always have the craziest projects for me, don't you?
As Garm groused about this, the 4 of us all possessed our avatars to demonstrate for him.
Alright, we'll make you exactly what you want. No, even better.
Yes, we're on the case. I love a nice, creative project like this, and I'll try to craft some stuff that'd never work on a human.
Kurabe and Garm both readily agreed to the project. And really, I couldn't wait to see what they came up with. They said the work would be done in several days, so in the meantime, we trained ourselves to get more used to our avatars. Nothing too complex, fighting monsters in the labyrinth's upper levels, attacking obvious newbie adventurers. Over the past few days, we had grown adept at dividing up our roles. Reaching that point, though, was a slog. At first, we even lost to beginner parties up top. We'd also get wiped out by traps, which would probably be funny to us later but definitely wasn't at the time, and do other stupid things. We tried using magic items to keep traps from deploying and stuff, even. It was Ramirez who kept setting them off, with Veldora usually suffering as the hapless victim. I floated, meanwhile, and Milam could stick to the ceiling. Pitfalls weren't a concern for us too, so we forgot to warn the others about them. That was a mistake, I'll admit, but Ramirez. Seriously? Why are you setting off traps? We made sure to give her an earful about it, and I think she deserved it. Through all the pain, we skipped out on sleeping to keep on training. In battle, teamwork was the most important thing. Normal parties would talk to one another or give signals with their eyes, but we had pretty much none of those skills at all. We had Veldora and Milam with us, after all, two people who were the strongest in the world all by themselves. What we did have, however, was one cheat-level skill, thought communication, letting us stay in touch and give orders with pinpoint accuracy. I was the party's command post, Veldora, Milam, and Ramirez serving as my hands and feet. Thanks to that, we began to rapidly build ourselves, eventually gaining some decent experience and abilities. Once we had a good footing, we patiently waited for our equipment as we fine-tuned our teamwork. As we did, we heard the news that Team Green Fury had beaten Floor 40.
Hoo boy,
Said Ramirez.
now they've beaten the Tempest Serpent, huh?
They took a pretty careful approach. The first team was all about gathering intelligence, the second whittled down its energy, and then the A team killed it.
Said Veldora. Bosses were resurrected regularly, of course. But if a boss successfully beat a party, that didn't erase its current damage or state of exhaustion. If a group of people had the right teamwork, this gave them a clear advantage.
That was a mistake. Bosses really need a way to heal.
Yeah, but those monsters work strictly on instinct, so.
As Veldora saw it, they lacked the intelligence to use healing items anyway, making it a moot point. He was right, but we weren't out of options.
Why don't we bring it up with Trainee?
I suggested.
The labyrinth managers can heal monsters, can't they?
Oh, right, I'll do that.
So we decided to have Trainee's sisters heal bosses if they were involved in a consecutive streak of battles all at once. Little by little, we were addressing and solving the labyrinth's issues. And then.
They're about ready to hit floor 49. What'll we do, Rimuru?
Milam was on the verge of panic. But she was right. Green Fury would reach their most climactic battle yet as soon as tomorrow.
Well, we may not have our equipment at the moment, but I'd say our teamwork is golden.
Said Veldora.
Shall we try taking them on now?
I'm game. Time to use my arms of steel to beat them to a pulp.
Ramirez crowed. Those two were always out for blood. Honestly, though, I don't think we stood much of a chance in a clean fight. For now, Floor 49, packed with the most devious traps I ever devised, was our only real chance at messing with them.
Well, so be it. Maybe we can scrounge up some weapons.
Even if Karabe and Garm provided us the best gear possible, we probably wouldn't take a frontal approach with them. It'd certainly up our chances a lot, but we could probably hold our own anyway. But just when I was about to commit, I heard a knock on the conference room door.
Sir Rimuru,
Came Shien's refreshing voice.
Karabe said he's ready.
Our party looked at one another and grinned. Our specialized avatar equipment was complete. I was given a death scythe and hell garment, two magic items that even ghosts could wear. Veldora got the death blade and hellmail, along with a hellgate shield to complete the picture. As a slime, Milam could only equip simple objects, swallowing up a death stiletto and covering her body with a crimson cape. The moment she did, her body grew a pair of blood-red wings, quite a transformation.
See?
She gleefully shouted.
It's really true. You need to equip your items, or else they won't work.
Yeah, great. If she was happy, I was happy. Finally, Ramirez. She had ordered heavy full-plate armor, which looked like a work of art, but we weren't sure if she could even equip it. Nervous, she possessed her living armor and tried to take it up, and at that very moment, she switched armor. With a clatter, her old tin suit crashed to the ground, turning to dust and vanishing in the wind. She had upgraded from living armor to heavy living armor, not an evolution, but more like a total replacement.
Whoa, this is so much easier to move in.
She was right. Her old, creaky gait was now smooth and ninja-like. It'd help her teamwork a lot, I was sure. Funny to think a suit of armor's feature set could affect the way you moved, though. Kind of an unexpected discovery. Elated, Ramirez now had to select a weapon and shield.
I don't need no stupid shield.
Was her opinion, so she opted for a large two-handed weapon instead, the death axe. The power it packed made it the ultimate in weapons. Wielding it was tricky, but oh well, not my problem. She got picked on all the time for being a wimp, so maybe this'll assuage her ego a little. Funny how her personality kept coming out like that. So we were all decked out in brand new equipment. These weapons and armor were all on the level of a unique item, but since they were heavily modified for use by monsters, they were more novelty items than anything. For beginners like us, however, they were crazily overpowered. What's more, they had a type of curse applied that registered our names to them, thus, they could never get stolen. It was the best equipment we could have possibly asked for right now, and it gave us a new perspective on everything. It was almost time to rumble, and we couldn't have been more excited. Time for a quick check of our avatars. My ghost dropped physical offense in favor of magical and spiritual attacks. It was classed as a sorcerer, and in time, I'd like to maybe teach it spiritual and illusory magic so it could make the upgrade to full-fledged wizard. Holy magic would be a nice addition, too. What would happen if I placed faith in myself to drive that? That'd be a fun experiment. Veldora's skeleton was an all-rounder, capable of various kinds of attacks. It was a fighter class, and I think he wanted to teach it magic so it could become a magic knight later. Milam's slime, meanwhile, was geared entirely for speed, and for landing telling blows in a single strike. Wish fulfillment for her, I suppose. Her class was assassin, and maybe I could have Soe give her some training, but I didn't want to occupy his time with our dumb little make-believe fun here. Her basic strategy involved lunging down on foes from the ceiling, a powerful strike if it worked, but what did she intend to do if it didn't? Run, I suppose. She certainly was fast enough for it. In a way, she was the ideal slime fighter. Finally, as you'd expect, Ramirez's heavy living armor was an attacker with more than ample defense, giving it a lot more stability than I originally gave her credit for. The class was Berserker, and while she was no crazed warrior, defending herself was never really a priority in Ramirez's approach. As a dangerous, attack-oriented creature, that was the name she was given. Once she got used to things, I could picture her as a tank, providing a twin wall of defense with Veldora. We were all set to go. Given that we never got hungry, long, dragged-out battles were our lone major advantage. Let's do the best job we can to get in Green Fury's way. Such was our thoughts as we set off, but, well, we sent them running so fast, the actual battle was a total letdown. If you threw away all emotion and ran a completely impartial, third-party analyze and assess on our avatars, you'd realize that we were probably already pushing an A in rank. Our equipment was more than half the reason for that, but even without it, as long as we made good use of our powers, nothing could stop us.
That's it for this video, guys. Thank you for always watching my videos and supporting my channel. Shoutout to Fennec Foxy, Rahul Subramanian, AZFR, Wabalabadubdub, Karandeep, Mark Gian Prospero, Jason Kenji, Charlie Kel Tesoro, Josiah Ingada, and last but not least, shoutout to Tobirama Senju. I'll see you guys in the next video.